Okay, all right, let's do it, guys. We're officially here for the Walmart Marketplace Masterclass. We're gonna have a great discussion with everyone here in the seller community, as well as, again, our teams here from Walmart, Zentail, and Teikametrics. This is day one of this two-day series. We're gonna talk today about applying to Walmart, listing, advertising, kind of the let's get everyone started and let's get you live online. And then tomorrow's portion will cover more kind of the fulfillment, orders, and returns. So once you're selling and everything else to come there. Today's agenda, real quick. So again, we'll do some quick intros, go through partner highlights. Everyone will have just a brief presentation just to make sure everyone's kind of on the same page with who we are and what we do, things like that. And then the fun really starts about 20 or so minutes in with all of your questions. We had a ton from when everyone registered, so we will start there. And then obviously, again, please feel free to drop them into the live group and the chat, and we'll let it go. All right. Again, with this today, we're covering off on more of the get up and running. And so you know who all you'll be speaking with today. As part of Zentail, you have myself, I'm Director of Marketing, and Michael Goldmeyer, too, will be here to help inform sellers on some of the story that we've seen with Walmart. On the Walmart side, we have Alicia DeFinis, Director of Marketplace Growth, our close partner, Zach Hecker, and experts internally there at Walmart between listing, advertising, etc. Gresh, Dion, Jeffrey, thanks for joining us. And then, of course, our close friend and partner, Jason McGee from Teikametrics, to cover off on advertising. Awesome. Some real quick housekeeping notes. Again, we're here to start off on the get up and running front. We'll answer as many questions as possible. And if you really had that one burning question that we didn't get to, feel free to email them over to the Zentail team, events@Zentail. What else? Let's keep things positive and keep things rolling. So everyone's here to learn. Let's make the most of our time together and the Walmart team's time as well. And then we look forward to keeping the conversation going, whether it's in this chat, or again tomorrow. All right, let's do it. One last thank you. Philip, thank you. As the admin and moderator of the Walmart Marketplace Sellers Group, we could not be here without you today. So we owe you a great deal of thanks. We're really excited for this conversation to come. You are our VIP today, so thank you. All right, time to kick it over to the Walmart team. Zach, take it away.
Yep, thanks. Let me jump over here and grab the screen. Number 2, boom, boom. All right, can I get a thumbs up? Can you guys see that all right? Hopefully you're not looking at my inbox and you're looking at my presentation. Okay, thanks guys. I'm Zach Hecker, Senior Manager, Strategic Partnerships here for the Walmart Marketplace. My role, I partner with Pauline and Zentail and other solution providers to help drive growth on the marketplace and help to improve the lives of our shared customers, Pauline, Zentail's, and Walmart's shared customers, which is sellers like yourselves, as well as the end customer who's buying goods and services from us. Really excited to be here today. I love the format. I'm big into AMAs, AWAs. Just it's a fun way to learn and to engage with other people who have similar questions like you. A huge shout out to my team and my associates here at Walmart who donated their time and energy and effort to help make this possible. So really thrilled you're here, especially to Gresh, who is working from India and is probably like 4 in the morning. So you, sir, are awesome. Thank you so much for being here and lending your expertise. Okay, moving forward, Walmart Marketplace, bright future built on big ideas. Today's Walmart serves customers like nobody else can, offering top quality products, selection, and best in-class shopping experience. And I'm just gonna fly through these just so we can get to the bread and butter of what we're all here for, is the Q&A. This slide is already outdated, right? If you look at that middle graphic, 35% year-over-year growth in FY20. If you paid attention to earnings report that went out yesterday, we actually are on an accelerated trajectory where we actually achieved 97% quarter-over-quarter growth. So Q2 FY21 versus Q2 FY20. So this year's quarter versus last year's quarter two, 97%. And that's e-com as a total. So that's the Walmart.com business plus all the business that marketplace sellers are contributing as well. So it's extremely good time to be a part of the marketplace with all the craziness that's going on this year with the impact of COVID to everyone's lives. This is like a real shining opportunity for us to still make positive growth and things like that. So it's really exciting time to be here. Just a quick slide that demonstrates the power of being a marketplace participated seller on Walmart versus another one of our competitors, obviously Amazon.com. Just saying the traffic divided by and the impressions divided by the amount of sellers that we allow on the marketplace gives you a much stronger footprint and more visibility to your products. So sellers on Walmart get 13 times more visitors per month compared to Amazon, making Walmart an order of magnitude less saturated by sellers compared to other marketplaces. And real quick, what the type of sellers we want and what it takes to become accepted to the marketplace. Experience. We want people who will uphold our customer promise. Usually this to us looks like people who are businesses with a U.S. tax ID and a Form W-9, and history of marketplace or e-commerce success. I've seen plenty of questions in the past, and we'll get to them in a little bit, where, hey, I'm new to e-com, I'm transitioning from brick and mortar traditional to e-com. Can I join your marketplace? And we'll get to more detail, but yes, there is a place for you. So don't be scared away if you're saying, I don't have this e-com experience. A compelling product catalog, enhancement to the Walmart.com assortment. Your products are registered with GTIN, UPC, GS1 prefixes. We do have a UPC exemption process, but it's not the majority of the merchants that we go after to have as a part of our marketplace, but it is possible. Exceptional customer experience, fast and reliable fulfillment, B2C US warehouse with shipping and returns capability, or an approved 3PL fulfillment provider. Kind of feeds back into that other point. If you don't have the experience, we can partner with the right people to get you there. Intro, Zentail, Tika, as well as tomorrow's partner, which would be Deliver. And the track record of first-class customer service. So we love our customers more than anything. We listen to them, we care for them. We want you guys to do the same thing. So that's one thing we definitely verify before accepting you to the marketplace. This is the process of getting accepted. You apply, you get approved, you accept a contract, you register. So there's a couple different things. You do the application saying, I want to sell. We then allow you to sell, and you register for the seller center itself, and you're filling out everything that we need to know about your customer service options, your taxes, your shipping settings, all of those things. And then we go through onboarding, and we have some support for that. And when all the boxes are checked, you request to launch. We do one more round of verification to make sure it's ready to go, and then you're live and selling. But it's not like after you apply, you can still make progress towards the end goal while we do some background verification, making sure you are who you say you are. The way we drive marketplace growth is by innovating in programs and services to help merchants reach customers in new and exciting ways. Some of the things that we'll talk about in these 2 days is the 2-day program itself. Fulfillment services, Walmart Fulfillment Services will be here tomorrow. Sponsored products, we have Dion, who will introduce herself when it gets to her slide. She's fantastic, wealth of knowledge. And then fast and easy returns. And there's more, but this is just some things that we'll be touching on during this these 2-day event. And I think actually I'm throwing to Dion right now, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go.
Great, thanks, Zach. Hi, everyone. My name is Dion Resnick, and I am Senior Manager of Learning and Development here at the Walmart Media Group. Here at the Walmart Media Group, our mission is to enable brands to reach customers at the right time and place by really delivering highly relevant content and accountable advertising that enhances the Walmart shopping journey. And that is why we are designing solutions to really meet the needs of our partners. On our platform, customers come to Walmart every day to discover and search new products. So, every day their customers are purchasing groceries, diapers, electronics, toys, beauty products to really make their lives better. And our scale is massive. We are the #1 retailer in the US with 60 million searches per day, 12 million visits per day. So what are sponsored products, right? Why are we here? They are ads that appear on our site in prominent, high traffic spots, such as our search results, product detail pages, we have the buy box, item pages, category pages. They're really here to help you get noticed by giving you that instant visibility boost. Sponsored products help increase sales by helping you get noticed, reach customers who are searching for your products, and drive them to your product detail pages. And what's so great about these is you're only going to pay when a customer clicks on your ad. Next slide, please. So we offer 3 ad placements. So if you're on Walmart, we're throughout the entire customer journey. So we have Search and Grid, which is going to highlight your products on the first page of the search results in slots 1 through 12, and only 2 slots will be served at one time. Here, you need to organically appear within the 128 of the search results. And this is available for manual and automatic campaigns. And if you want to learn more about those campaigns, you can visit our help center after this session. And then we have the product carousel, right? So with the product carousel, you're going to highlight your products on the results page and item pages for similar or relevant products. And here, your items do not need to appear organically within the 128. So this is great for new sellers who come onto Walmart with new products. And these are ads based on the category browse behavior. And again, they also drive product traffic to your product pages. And then the third is the buy box. So within the buy box, if you want to go to the next slide.
There we go. Sorry.
No worries. So with this ad placement, you are capturing Walmart customers as they're making their final purchase decision. These ads appear on the product detail pages, and they're very highly visible, very premium position, and you really have the ability to sway a customer from hitting the add to cart and clicking on the product. And just like with all of the placements, your product needs to be in stock. You need to be winning the buy box. You need to be offering, lowest price and your shipping. And again, we have an advertising help center has like a wealth of knowledge with like guides, FAQs, video tutorials. You can learn all about the reports that we offer, some common seasonal best guides. So please visit, advertisinghelp.walmart.com, and you'll be able to find everything that you need to help you get started on sponsored products. That is all I had. Yep, just like our resources, right? So get started. If you want to get started, you're going to fill out a lead form, and we have a whole team dedicated to, funneling these requests. So that is at thewalmartmedia.com, and you're going to hit contact. And like I mentioned, to learn more about our, guides and FAQs, you're going to visit our help center, advertisinghelp.walmart.com, as well as I put in here some additional video tutorials on features like alerts and recommendations. That's going to tell you whether you need to increase your budgets, and then, how to apply a bid multiplier. So I hope you guys fill out that form and start advertising.
Cool. Thank you. Next, really quickly, just throw it over to Garesh to just briefly go over the care slide, talking about quality content.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I really just, when it comes to content, there's just one thing that I want every supplier or seller to remember. It's to take care and to be care compliant when you're creating content. And care stands for complete, accurate, relevant, and engaging content, right? So when you talk about setting up your item on Walmart and start selling it on Walmart, the requirements may be fairly basic, right? You just need a few attributes and probably a couple of images, and that should get you in. But that only adds to completeness, right? It's just a checkbox activity just to make sure that you're able to sell your item online. But is that information really accurate, relevant, and most importantly, is it engaging enough for the customer to actually go and click on the buy button there, right? So if you don't care enough about the item pages that you're creating, then the customer will not care enough to click on the buy now as well. So if there's anything you take away from here when you talk about creating content for Walmart pages, please ensure that you are care compliant. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about quality content.
Perfect. Wonderful acronym. I'm sure we'll touch on it again as we're going through the questions. And then Jeffrey, if you want to briefly chat on the listing quality tool, sort of how it will help sellers in the near future.
Yep. Like Girish was mentioning, to help you get more insights into what is actually the best listing out there for your products to actually engage with your customers, we're releasing a new tool soon. It's an analytics tool that helps you increase your conversion and drive growth. It provides a 360 view into understanding how your items are performing based on factors that affect consumers and their purchase decisions. So when we're thinking about a listing, we're not just talking about content. We're talking about holistically, how is this performing in terms of pricing, shipping speed? Are you offering the best shipping speed to customers as possible? Looking at your ratings and reviews, and in the future, we want to provide you with post-purchase information. So if you're not delivering on time for an item, you can kind of dig deeper into that item and kind of look and improve upon it. And we're looking to help you build up your business by improving your product visibility, letting you know which attributes are most important for search or discoverability, giving you specific recommendations on how to improve your titles. And then hopefully all of that will help you minimize returns and gain repeat business. Feel free to check out the Learn More. We're having another webinar just specifically on this tool once it is released, if you want to learn more about that.
Very good. Thank you. And then this is an overview slide we'll kind of touch on during question and answer. But with that, I can just encourage you guys all, if you haven't done it already, it sounds like we have a very active seller base that's here who are already participative sellers. But for the newbies who want to join, this will all be included in the wrap-up email from Pauline. So we'll get you going. All right, Pauline, with that, I can throw it back to you.
All right, so great. Let's be Zentail. Let's get to it. For those of you who aren't as familiar with us as some other sellers, we are the #1 e-commerce operations management platform. That is a mouthful, but really what it comes down to at the end of the day, we're here to help your business grow. We are here to make things simple. We like to say internally that the internet is a great place to buy, but a terrible place to sell. And so to help your teams get through it a little bit, a little bit more carefree. And again, with growth in sales more profitably, sellers rely on Zentail for automation. We just take all of those daily tasks, automate them so that your team, gets through them faster. They're more productive during the day, and there's also more, like quality and reliability to their efforts as well. We like to think of ourselves as CIOs in a way, Chief Information Officers, as it relates to your product data, right? And so between your catalog, inventory, and orders, Zentail is able to help manage all of them to make sure that you are up to snuff with requirements for the marketplaces, that you understand, where your inventory lies. And obviously that plays into our analytics platform, being able to offer you demand forecasting, letting you know when you need to reorder products, as well as completing the cycle with purchase orders as well. Last but not least, a lot of folks really know us too for our awesome channel connectivity. I hope you like what I did there, AWW. So Amazon, Walmart, and your web store. So we make sure that you are connected 24/7 to be able to get the most sales year round. What it really matters to you guys as sellers, what matters at the end of the day, again, is that we help your sales growth. We do it more profitably in terms of your investment, as well as all the time saved for your team. And so, again, we're here to help you grow your business and be really good partners during the process. We pride ourselves on obviously the software, but also our team of experts here internally who can help you, day to day to get things started, as well as, when things come up, we're always here for your team as well. Short and sweet from Zentail. Let's talk to Teikametrics. Jason.
Great, thank you so much. I'm gonna try and steal control here.
Yes.
And give me the thumbs up if you can see this as well.
Great, perfect.
Awesome, thanks, Zach. So my name is Jason McGee. I'm a Senior Director of Sales and Business Development here at Teikametrics. For those who don't know Teikametrics, we combine best-in-class technology, AI and machine learning, with hands-on keyboard management and proven methodologies to leverage advertising to scale on channels like Amazon and Walmart. The reason why we are here today is because one of the absolute bright spots in our business has been our partnership with Walmart. And as I mentioned, there are a lot of familiar faces here. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about our partnership with Walmart. We were Walmart's very first API partner from the with their advertising API, and we got the keys to be able to begin building in last May of 2019. During that time, we actually were able to bring Srini Gudanti, who was a 14-year vet at Amazon. He was a worldwide director of sponsored advertising engagement. When he came on, one of the things that he was so passionate about was using Walmart as our next frontier because of the growth and how awesome the opportunity was. So within a month, we were live within their API. A month from that, we had our very first client, and we quickly started seeing results directly from our clients. By November of last year, just a few short months after being live since July, we were averaging 21 to 170% growth in both units sold and dollar sales. Important for us is 85% of the growth that we are driving for our clients was from non-branded search. A lot of folks who are leveraging Walmart, a lot of them were in more of the initial stages where they tried it or they hadn't scaled it, but now they were very excited about really investing. Fast forward to today, we manage well over 150 accounts. We're averaging a 27% increase in ROAS, and it's just been such a bright spot for clients during this time as well. We early on, probably about a year or so ago, we would say, hey, Walmart is your next dollar best spent. That's completely changed. Now, in a lot of ways, Walmart is your best dollar spent, period, for a lot of the reasons that Zach mentioned and Dion touched on as well. For us, unless you're an advertising nerd like me, nobody just likes to advertise. If you get advertising spend right, and you do that, obviously, our approach is data science, but if you get ad spend right, yeah, you're going to get more ad sales, but what you're doing is you're proving to the marketplace like Walmart that you deserve to rank better organically for those keywords, because folks are actually seeing that product and understand that it fits their needs and they're completing the sales cycle. If you do that right, a rising tide is going to raise all ships, and it can put you in a position to rank better organically as well. What does that mean? Not only are you selling more, but you now have more data to go and spin the flywheel faster. So I'm going to finish that with just one quick case study. A client of ours, GoPlus. This is a very interesting one. They had 220 items in their catalog, and they had pretty aggressive ROAS targets. Within 2 weeks, we not only hit and exceeded those, they took the right approach that, it's kind of scary that we're already kind of close to Q4. The ideal way you should look at advertising during Q4 is to have an uncapped budget that is tied to performance KPIs. Now, it's easy to be like, oh, I hit my goals, perfect, let me just go ahead and stop. No, they're like, you know what, let's quadruple down, because as long as we're hitting our goals, we're going to hit top line sales metrics by investing in advertising on Walmart. So yes, this obviously highlights what we're able to do, but this also just highlights why advertising on Walmart is so critical to your business. One last thing here, if you just want to see this in a graphical representation, week 4 is March. 4th week of March is when we were already exceeding those targets. They continue to invest more in advertising, and they're much better for it. So thanks again for the Zentail team and Pauline specifically for having us be a part of this today.
All right, here we go. This is the official slide. Let's kick things off, you guys. Great timing. All right, so I figured that we could just do a little bit of the Q&A starting with like 101 sessions. So you guys obviously touched a little bit on the application listings and advertising, but let's just go like one step in. So in terms of applying, Zach, obviously you mentioned that there is a process. Can you speak more to what is on the application? What are you looking for on the application? Like, what is a quality seller to you? What are requirements? And then is there a timing component to that? So just dig in a little bit further.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alicia, by all means, feel free to jump in here, as I'm sure I'll miss some stuff. What we are looking for, experienced sellers who have a proven track record of positive customer interaction, not just positive, really like excelling in meeting the customer promise. We want to make sure that merchants and Walmart have shared customers. That is the end user who is buying from both of us, and we want to make sure that we are making their lives better. One of our biggest promises is saving people money so they can live better, and a lot of that is trying to find ways to also like return time to them. So good shipping metrics, great customer performance metrics, and this stuff has to be verifiable. And so during the application process, what we're really trying to do is gather the information from these sellers in a succinct way. Like the application is not long, but it's like, give us the verifiable information so that we can go through and vet that internally. We have a department called Trust and Safety. You'll finish your application, you'll get conditionally approved, which means you can make progress in setting up your account and starting to build your listings, while in the back end, we have the TNS team going through and checking to make sure that you are who you say you are, you have the proven track record of really like wowing the customer, and then your selection does fit. Like for some reason, they have, better Business Bureau scores or great off marketplace customer reviews, whatever it might be, but then they're selling a catalog that has items, whether they're like user generated content, or that might be on our like almost like the no-fly list for the product types that we can't have on the marketplace, which are clearly displayed for people. And I'll have that link in documentation sent over afterwards, or it's on sellerhelp.walmart.com, really easy to find. If for some reason you check all the boxes, but some of your items might not fit, we're going to err on the side of caution in protecting our customer always. And so that would mean that you would still not be qualified for the marketplace. I hope that does a good enough job in answering, I think, the majority of your question. Alicia, I'm happy to throw it to you if you have anything to add there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you primarily covered it. We're really just looking to intake as much information as we can, about the sellers and the products that you're selling, and the way that you're fulfilling, and some additional information that makes it easy for us to verify, like Zach said, who you are, what you're selling. Makes it easy for the Trust and Safety team. You have a W-9, so you're paying taxes in the U.S. You have fulfillment within the U.S., or you're using Deliver or one of our fulfillment partners. And we get feedback that you can be through the application if you've got all your information teed up and ready to add in 15-20 minutes. And then typically we hear back from our Trust and Safety team either with we need some more information, or you're approved, or the product type that you're selling doesn't fit the needs or criteria right now within 48 hours, so business days. So we can give you some more information within 2 days. Like, let's say we need some additional data just to be able to feel really confident about the decision we're making. And then during that time, you can already be moving through the process, and then you should be good to go.
That's great. I love that you can keep moving as this is all kind of in flux. That's awesome. You guys talked about performance metrics. Can you go into any more detail there?
The real key word here is verifiable, right? So when we say we want to have professional, seasoned sellers, a lot of time that means that there are verifiable off marketplace. By off marketplace, I mean not internal to Walmart. So we can go on other, whether it be they have experience selling on eBay or Amazon or other review syndication platforms that talk about businesses, where we can say like, this is this person, there's not a bunch of negative reviews against them saying we bought this thing, we never received it, or whatever it might be. There are multitudes of them. A simple Google search sometimes will return a bunch of this stuff about you. We just want to make sure that what you're saying and who you are is verifiable. So we verify that your performance metrics as to the best of our ability. If for some reason, if there were an issue, right? Let's say like we're a brick and mortar seller, we've never sold e-com, we don't really know the shipping piece. Therefore, you would not qualify just by yourself. But partnering with Zentail to have your expertise to help them get that part lined up prior to going live on the marketplace would be a way for us to overcome that. And also partnering with like a Deliver to say like, okay, you're not actually fulfilling that part of the customer promise where you're shipping on time and doing everything correctly. You will rely on a third party to do that on your behalf. That would be another way we could overcome those things. So the perfect seller does check all the boxes, but for some reason you yourself are not a perfect seller. There are ways to overcome, and talking to an expert like Pauline and Jason, they can direct you into where your gap might be and how we can overcome that.
Perfect. Great. Thanks.
Actually,
Yeah, I know that you've been,
very
oh,
quickly,
sorry.
I have
Yeah.
just a couple of things that I see coming up in the group frequently that might be useful to address. Just one, is there a minimum expected seller size? Sort of people say, you have to be selling X 100,000, X
Yep.
million, whatever the number is. So is there some guideline on that? And then another thing that we just get a lot of is people who have applied, but then just stop hearing anything. And so it just leaves them ambiguous. And so,
Yeah.
can we have a cleaner sort of yes, no?
I can speak to that real quick, both those points. So the GMV piece, so like your total revenue, saying like, this is what we do as a business and we're trying to get on marketplace to grow that. Historically, there were minimums in place. Nowadays, we look at that as the same way as if it were your online experience or your shipping. It's almost like you're just missing one component. So we would look for you to partner with an expert or to tell us sort of like what the reasoning is behind that, but we don't have any minimum threshold for GMV as a requirement. If you check all the other boxes and it's just like, hey, but we've only been selling online for like a year or 2 years, and we haven't quite hit that, that ramp or that scale that we were looking for. Like everything else, there's a way to overcome. And then I applied and I never heard back. Typically, that's because the first time someone applied, they were denied, and then there's subsequent applications that lead to like a duplicate application status being placed on that application, and those are not given any sort of response, which can be frustrating. Outside of our business development teams going through and doing like manual checks to either like merge two applications and then do some outbound communication efforts, that is typically where we see that. So someone applies multiple times, or someone else from their business had applied and maybe the application wasn't complete, or for some reason that application was denied, and they try to apply again in March, then April, and then May. So we would not reply to those last three. To overcome this, what I've seen successful, so this is going by yourself, opening up a case. And the important thing here with a support case is to be very crystal clear on what you're trying to accomplish, and providing that case all the information they would need to connect it to any other applications that might have come in the past. So a lot of times they'll open a case and just be like, I never heard back. Someone please help me and tell me why. And that doesn't give, because when you're opening a case and you're not a registered seller, you don't have like the case routing system does not have the data points to feed it and connect it to any other application. So you need to say, this is my name, this is my business, this is our address, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I think someone might have applied in the past and was denied. We need to find out more information about this. And that is a method I've seen successful to overcome that, what you're describing there, Philip, of not hearing back on an application.
Great, perfect. Really helpful. I think another thing you touched on again around like the verifiable business, other channels is great. What about international sellers? I know this came up a little bit, Zach, between you and I and a seller that we now work with, but can you share with the group, how can an international seller sell through Walmart Marketplace US?
Kick it to you, Alicia. I think I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, so right now we're not allowing international sellers in. The only way to become to be an international seller and become a seller on the Walmart Marketplace is to be a multinational seller. And so what that means to us is that you have an entity in the US that you have the ability to ship from. You are paying taxes in the US, so you have a W-9 form. And so that way you can do customer service from that entity. You can receive returns to that entity in the US. You can also use Deliver, but you still do need to have a US entity for customer service and returns and things of that nature. And you do need to have a W-9 form.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that there's a lot there. There's a ton of opportunity as well. And then even as, US sellers looking to go to Canada, yada, yada, the international conversation is always an interesting one. So, maybe we'll just have another one of these in a little bit where we can talk purely about international.
Yeah.
Okay, there was also a question about brick and mortar sellers. Zach, you kind of addressed that too, where, whereas that does count as sales, but you're really looking for the experienced online seller when it comes to the marketplace. So,
yep.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
most specifically, we just need people who can ship on time and accurately to make sure that the customer satisfaction rates that we're trying to hit stay where they are and where we're trying to grow them to. And so if you maybe don't have the experience shipping, partner with somebody like Walmart Fulfillment Services, Deliver, et cetera, to make sure that we can overcome that small knowledge gap until you're ready and you can work your way to being a seller fulfilled shipper. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And then in terms of applications and partners, things like that, I know that if you go through Deliver or again through Zentail, you guys have been really helpful with keeping an eye on our applications, making sure they get through, answering any questions up front. So thanks on behalf of us and all of our sellers.
Yep, absolutely.
Along the same note, so once you are, you've applied, you've been accepted, et cetera, there is a question about if there's any kind of, assistance to start selling on Walmart, if you have any kind of like case manager, account manager to help lead you and guide you as a seller.
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in real quick. Alicia, do you want to go?
I was going to say, no, Zach, you take it. Go ahead.
So we do have a small business development team, but by no means are they at the scale enough to work with every single seller that applies. We do have onboarding support that does, once your application is completed, communicate with you via email to say like, here's what's going on, here's what we see, here are some of the next steps we need you to basically the boxes we need you to check to move forward in the onboarding process. That is a high level of support, and it is a person, a real person, it's not a machine, who is there to answer your questions and work with you, and it's email based. You can request calls and they can call you and help you through that process. But after basically you've checked your boxes and are ready to launch, we do expect a high level of autonomy for you to drive your own growth on the marketplace. But like I mentioned, we have business development teams that sort of go out there and recruit new businesses and help them to navigate onboarding and selling and then ramping onto the marketplace. And then we also have teams that do manage high velocity, high impacting sellers on the marketplace as well, with strategic account management services, which are not something that sellers have to pay for, which is a way. I mean, you'll notice on our marketplace, we have far fewer fees than competitors, which is pretty exciting for people to come and sell. SAM being one of the bigger differences. But yeah, we have support. Every seller does apply or does qualify for onboarding support, not necessarily business development account support, account health growth.
Sure, helpful. That makes sense. And then again, if you work with Zentail, we are here anytime to, kind of fill in the gaps and get you moving. So let us know if we can be of help there. Great.
100%.
I think that covered off on a lot of kind of the 101 to the application process. Let's transition to advertising. So great. Listing rather. We've applied, we're in. Let's get started with listing. There are questions about even like product assortment. How do sellers know what are the right brands or products to be selling? Can you provide any advice there?
Yeah, I'm looking at the team to see if either Girish or Jeffrey wants to jump in, or Alicia, but yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. In terms of finding like hot items for you to kind of figure out if you want to bring on, there is a tool or analytics seller center where underneath the growth opportunities tab, there is an assortment growth section. We are giving you insights into what are the best sellers of Walmart. We also tell you if you actually have that item or not. So you can get some ideas into what kind of works for each category, if it works for you or not. So that's one insight that we've released pretty early on in terms of the analytics side of things.
Wow, Jeffrey, definitely helpful. And then question, because I haven't been in clarity yet, but does that also include a list of brands that are and are not able to be sold on Walmart?
Yeah, we don't have a list of brands on there, but we do show the brand of the item. So you can export that and then do some filters and figure out like what is a large chunk for this area.
Pro tip. Excellent. Very good. Okay, let's talk about the listing itself. There are questions surrounding, how do I make my listing really good for SEO? Can you talk about, characters in the title, things like that? How do folks optimize their listings essentially?
Yeah. So,
And go ahead,
Rich,
Jeff.
do you want to go? Oh, cool. So just to touch on that, a lot of every item actually has its own specific requirements. And initially, when we set up an item, it's pretty generic, have X to X character. But the tool that we're releasing right now, called Listing Quality, will give you specific recommendations on saying this title for this specific product should be X amount of characters or contain a brand in it, for example. It'll go into details also for like descriptions, if it's too short, too long. For your images, we tell you if it's Zoom compatible, is it matching to what we're expecting in terms of image size. And then we'll give you specific recommendations saying that you're missing specific attributes, like if you're selling a lunchbox and we don't have the material attributed, or telling you that that's important for a customer to actually figure out, is it plastic versus metal. So that tool will actually give you specific recommendations and not pretty generic overlays about how to improve your content.
Wow, that sounds awesome, really helpful. Remind me, when is that launching again?
We're hoping by the end of August. So feel
Right
free
around the
to
corner.
keep checking out the newsletter. We'll announce it there as well for Marketplace. And then there's that webinar that you can sign up for September 9th is when we're kind of give like a deep dive into the tool.
Nice, awesome. Jeffrey will have to grab that URL so we can shoot folks to sign up for the webinar. Great. Okay, so you mentioned images just now. What are your thoughts on still images versus the 360 images? And then can listings also include video?
Girish, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly touch upon the content piece as well, and I'll move into that. So with regards to the overall content as well, to add on to what Jeffrey mentioned earlier, we are building style guides, detailed style guides that actually tell you what kind of a format works best for a title, how many characters should, or how many words you should have in a description, what are the kind of keywords that are best used for specific products, right? So at a product type level, we have keywords that our team is building, and we're working closely with the marketplace team. So these are built primarily for 1P suppliers at Walmart. Now we're working closely with the marketplace team to translate those or make a sort of marketplace version available as well. So more to come on that. In terms of images and 360 spins, both of those are, and of course rich media, are possible for marketplace sellers as well. We do have an in-house hosting solution that we're currently trying to test out right now. It's not anything to scale. It's a small pilot that we're running where sellers and suppliers should be able to upload 360 spins and product videos within the Walmart cloud, so they don't have to pay separate hosting fees. But it's a small pilot we're working on. More to come on that. It's probably going to take another 3 to 6 months before we firm that up, but that solution is available. Outside of that, yes, you should be able to submit rich media. I'm not sure on the specifically for Walmart, for the marketplace sellers, if they have an ability to upload it directly through Seller Center, or they need to go through another content partner to submit that. That's something which probably Zach or Alicia can help with. I'm not too sure on that.
Got it. Great. Jeffrey, Girish, thank you. That was helpful.
There's one thing I'll just
sure,
add to
Jason.
the listing aspect. Like when you think about selling on a marketplace, especially like Walmart, and obviously, people who sell there often have experience selling at Amazon, et cetera. There are two things you need to consider. Like there's an art component and there's a science component. The science component is you're trying to prove, like you're trying to give Walmart data about your products and your listing that allow them to understand how to rank you organically for those keywords and which ones are relevant for you. And if you're going to run automatic campaigns for advertising, like they need to go into your listing and to be able to see that. The science is you obviously want to play incredibly by the book and just make sure that it's a true representation of your product, and more in that case is better. Like if you have the ability to have X amount of images, use the images. If you can put like copy under the specifics, like use that aspect. That's more of the science behind it. The art is humans make the buying decision. So if I'm going to go and I'm going to make a purchase, I want to make sure that it speaks to me. So you need to go in and you need to read your reviews on on Walmart, on other platforms, and incorporate frequently asked questions and things like that into your listing as well. Just take a lot of the listing practices that you've seen that this works on just marketplaces in general. Use that to your advantage as well when it comes to Walmart. Make sure that you have a good mixture of your branded terms as well as generic search terms, because buyers purchase products in different ways. So it's very important that you have, good brand representation, but also the generic or the specs that people would search for if they're buying a tire, for instance. So you really just need to make sure that it's your canvas, do it right, but make sure you use the different, different art supplies you have to build that listing.
Agreed, Jason. Great breakdown. And I agree too that it's a human is buying this. So as important as keywords are, right? We're not looking to just stuff it with keywords. Make your listing really personable. Make sure that it really resonates with the customer. Give them the information that you would want to see there, and then you should win in the end. Goldie, I think that you wanted to mention something real quick too about listings.
Yes, I saw this coming through the Facebook comments. So thank you for people asking questions there. Louise asked, does Walmart allow multiple sellers of the same item, or do they only show the seller with the best price? So to quickly answer that one, yes, you can have multiple sellers on the same item on that same listing. And then you'll notice if you're just browsing Walmart.com, you might see one seller who's won the buy box on Walmart, and a lot goes into that. I think if we look at listing quality, there's things about the data that you have that contributes to that, your seller ranking. So things like the order defect rate, Zach spoke about shipping accurately and on time. It's going to go into that, as well as things like price, which determine who wins that buy box on that listing among the multiple sellers competing.
Perfect. Great. You mentioned the buy box. That there are definitely some questions around here for, I think people clearly understand there's an algorithm that's in play here. They're seeing some nuances between like lower price, higher priced, preference towards brands in certain companies. Can you kind of peel back a couple of the layers of the onion there around the buy box?
It's one of those things, right?
Let's get real, Zach.
The buy box, the wonderful algorithm that drives, it is dynamic, and it's ever in flux. The most important thing you can do is price and shipping. It's the things that customers want from us. They want to get it for a really good price, and they want to get it to their doorstep as quickly as possible. But it's in flux. So if you are competing against somebody else and you have you started on the marketplace in the same day and you have the same price, and for some reason it's not the best thing to focus on the buy box in its minutia. It's really trying to do the right things well. If you focus on everything else and enrolling in the programs that our sellers love, like the 2-day, the 3-day, making sure you have free shipping, you have really competitive pricing, where like your shipping opportunity and that return to the customer might be enough to overcome the fact that you don't have the lowest price. So think about, if you were the customer, what is the best actual value for like the end consumer, and work that into your strategy, rather than saying like, I'm just going to try to see how I can win this buy box the most often, because we'll always pivot towards what's best for the customer.
Yeah. On that note, do you take like a seller's history into play for, their ODR rate, things like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. So
Yeah.
again, it's all about the customer experience.
I certainly understand, that there's more to the buy box than pricing, right? And when we sell things on Amazon, you can kind of see that, maybe an FBA offer that gets to the customer in 1 or 2 days is going to get some priority over, a newer seller who's selling directly. It's going to take a week. But I have seen some and not just small, like several examples where I've seen the buy box going to a seller who is 20 to 25% more expensive than the second, the next seller down in the ranking, and is not shipping any faster. And so it's kind of hard to have any intuition as to what is making that happen. And actually, in one case, I happen to know that the guy winning the buy box is just a drop seller, which in theory shouldn't be on there. But the guy's basically drop selling from Amazon, getting a 25% premium over everyone else and not doing anything particularly fast either. So,
yeah, I mean, just it's one of those subjects where like we can't get into the minutia just because it's not allowed. But if this was the situation that I would come across, I would expect to see that existing seller probably has been doing it for a long time and has a lot of positive customer interactions where they've shipped on time, delivered on time, positive reviews, all the things that lead us to believe that this person, and who knows, they might be in our dropship vendor program. So there's a multitude of factors that go into it. So if that's the one thing where it's like, hey, this is a $25 item, this guy's selling it for $28.50 or whatever it might be, and it's not going to get there any faster than this third-party seller, why is he winning? Those are some things that would probably lead me to believe why that offer was preferred.
Got it. Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
All right, I think there are two more questions here on the listing front before we kick it over to advertising. One of them is, we'll get off of the algo for the buy box. Let's talk about organic search. A question from the Facebook chat. Can you please provide some explanation in regards to Walmart and organic search, indexing, and listing? Trying to see if there's anything more here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this speaks to Giresh, Jeffrey, and Jason's comments about the art and the science, and also care, complete, accurate, engaging, relevant and engaging, right? Making sure that you are as complete and accurate in your listing as possible, while also making sure your content is engaging, your images are engaging. All those things fuel SEO. A lot of merchants will do just what it takes to be a complete and live offer, and then be like, why am I not on a navigable browse shelf, things like that. And so the tool that Jeffrey's team is launching will help shine a bright light on what is might be missing and what might need to be tweaked to make you a more enticing offer and more enticing detail page. And all those things will fuel the SEO.
Great.
There are a few things that we spoke about in terms of content as well. We spoke about keyword stuffing, right? So there are these few potholes that sellers typically fall into. One is images with lots of text on it, right? You put stars and bubbles and clouds with lots of content in there. Distracts the customer from actually viewing the product itself. So stay away from those kind of things. And then when it comes to product names, we see sellers putting pretty much the entire description in the title because they just don't know which keywords are important, which are not, right? So that's why there are some title formats, right? Like it should be the brand, it should be the product, it should be the age range. That's it. The title should have that much. Then we also have description attributes for all of the other SEO stuff that you can provide, all of the other attributes and key attributes. And it's not just about titles, descriptions, and images, right? The attribution, which again, I think Jeffrey's tool will talk to about the discoverability attributes, which he touched upon when he spoke as well. The discoverability attributes are the ones that are most often neglected by all sellers and suppliers because it is not required to set up and sell your item, right? You get your item set up and you can sell it if you just have images and titles and description. Those are the three components that are really required. And that's when that SEO thing kicks in, right? Because all that additional attribution ensures that we can pick it up in search. It gets pulled up on the left-hand navigation or facets when customers are filtering down their results, or even the shelves that we create within Walmart, right? That are auto-created based on a combination of what the product is and the attributes that you provide in your attribution. So all of these together actually create that end-to-end experience that search engine optimization that you're looking at. So it's not just one or two, it's the whole thing that you have to do with regards to content.
Very good. It sounds like Giresh and Jason are on the same flywheel. Excellent. Okay, cool. Last question for listings. Let's talk brands real quick. So brands are really looking to understand how they can control their listings. Is there a registry to make sure that there aren't, anyone kind of invading their space, things like that. How can we help brands on Walmart?
There is not at this time a brand registry akin to Walmart's program. There are things that we can do to try to help your contribution score as the brand and content owner. That would allow you to say like your product detail contributions would trump another third-party sellers, to say like your images would be the images shown. With that being said, there are times there are questions where I saw, hey, I can't get my image switched, or my details aren't showing up. That goes into the factors of contribution weighting, and we have some experts here who can probably speak to it a little bit better or more detailed than I can, but similar things that go into buy box also go into this, like the time you have on the marketplace, your ability to positively engage with the customers, all lead us to give you a stronger representation in the content that you feed the marketplace. So say if you're on a very highly competitive detail page for a high velocity item, then you have to be a really high quality, high impactful merchant to then be able to contribute the items, or the title, the listing, the images. I feel like I lost the train of the question. Go ahead, Alicia.
Also, yeah, I would say one thing, like, although we don't have a brand registry, so to say, we do have, like, if there's ever concern around like an IP infringement or, a counterfeit or something of that nature, we do have a process for reporting anything that is potentially like IP infringing, counterfeit, a cause for concern, and we escalate and take action on those things really rapidly. Like we take that very seriously. We don't want, like, our trust and safety is very rigorous to avoid anything that's fraudulent or counterfeit. And then also we don't want IP infringement as well. So we do have a process for escalating those cases, and we do take swift action, and we've actually gotten really positive feedback from sellers on the way that we're
Yep.
handling those scenarios.
Yeah, we also, we protect brands and just the overall like way the marketplace is conservative in nature. We don't allow a lot of people on for specific reasons like this, where we want to make sure that it's a very clean and trustworthy experience for customers and brands.
Awesome. Great to have your support there. Okay, great. Let's kick it off to the advertising team now. Dion, Jason, thanks for your patience. This kind of one-on-one question is as one-on-one as it gets, and I think it makes sense for advertising being kind of new to Walmart. I hope you're sitting down. The question is, how do I start advertising on Walmart?
Yeah, I can take that. So to start advertising on Walmart, you're going to go to walmartmedia.com and you're going to go to contact. And you are going to fill out the lead form. So there's multiple ways that you can advertise. You can do self-serve. If you have a certain, budget that's greater than $25,000, then you can, and want to take advantage of like our other ad units, like our display. You can do managed serve, or you can work with one of our advertising partners like Teikametrics.
Thanks. So you mentioned that $25,000 budget. Is that kind of like a bar for you guys?
Yeah, so for self-serve, it is, you're willing to spend, $25,000 or less on the self-serve platform. So again, it's a cost per click. So you're only going to be paying when someone clicks on your ad, but we do require budget and minimums. So like to get started, again, it is like $100 per day and $1,000 for the campaign duration. But that does not mean you're spending $100 per day, and it does not mean you're spending $1,000 because it's a cost per click. This is just what you need to enter into our platform in order to start advertising.
Perfect. That makes sense. And so can you give any kind of, ballpark range for where CPCs are today?
That's all going to vary depending on your category, right? There's it's all going to depend on the categories and their products and how competitive, but we do have a minimum for like our automatic campaigns. It's like 20 cents. You can't, put in anything less than 20 cents. And on our manual campaigns, you can't put anything less than 30 cents. But again, the CPCs are all going to range to the competitiveness of the category and the product.
Okay, great.
Dion's hit the nail on the head. A couple things I will say. like Teikametrics, we're a data science company, so we obviously are analyzing the data that comes in. What I will say is, on average, again, depends on category, time of year, et cetera, but advertising on Walmart, a cost per click, we've seen it a third to a fifth more cost effective on Walmart than Amazon and other platforms. A lot of it, it comes is like just because the lack of like just the competition too. So right now it's awesome. I mean, this is, and again, I'm biased towards Walmart advertising. I've been living, eating, breathing, sleeping it with Dion and team. Zach hit the nail on the head because there's obviously more unique visitors per seller. And at the same time too, Walmart, not as many folks are on Walmart are advertising as they are on other channels as well. So again, we see cost per click, 1/3 to 1/5 of the price that we see on other channels. So it's just a great time to be advertising on Walmart.
Yeah, there's certainly something to the early mover advantage.
Sorry, Dion,
Ian.
what were you saying?
No, just saying to Jason's point, your ROAS, your return on ad spend, is just going to be so much, higher on our platform just due to the competitiveness from our platform.
Awesome, great. So it sounds like it's really effective right now. Is this something that you recommend all sellers do? Do you think it's essential?
Yes, I do, especially.
Surprise.
As we know, like there's Walmart.com has like infinite shelf space, right? And there's like more competition and products coming onto Walmart.com like each and every day. So there's limited product availability, unlike Walmart stores, like customers don't have time to go through all the aisles, right? All the pages. So participating in sponsored products really ensures that you are increasing your visibility and, staying top of mind and getting those eyeballs because we have like positions like on the search and grid, which is like right when customers come to, to Walmart. So yeah, you're ensuring with sponsored products, you're ensuring that you're continuously showing up where people are searching for them. So yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah. The other thing too, it's to touch on Dion's point, is like Walmart, in my opinion, like one of the things that Walmart's done very well is they don't want people, just putting whatever XYZ product to the very, like for instance, Walmart, if you want to run a search and grid advertisement, you have to rank on the top 128 products organically. So it's sort of chicken or egg. If you have a product and it's legitimate and you want to prove that if you get placement, you can have sell-through and therefore increase your rankings organically, you can use advertising, especially through automatic campaigns. That's one of having a listing. I say there's no silver bullet on selling in a marketplace. Having a listing is about as close, that's optimized well, is about as close to a silver bullet as you can. The way you get found is through advertising. And that's how you obviously not only get found, but it's how you gain relevancy within the marketplace and the algorithm as well. So it's absolutely key and critical wherever a product is in its life cycle, but especially if you're launching a product and you have a product that's been very successful in other channels, but it's new in a marketplace, advertising needs to be a core part of that strategy. And the other thing too is if you're going to advertise, you need to have a goal in mind. You need to think, where is this product in its life cycle? Who is the buyer I'm going after through a brand? Are they searching by a brand name? Is it my brand? Is it a competitor brand? Is it a generic search? You need to have a goal in mind, because if you don't know where you're going, you're going to get there, as they say. But absolutely, you just have to go with the right mindset and what your goals are.
Yeah.
I think you're muted, Pauline. Have to happen.
Thanks. Had to happen. Very good. You guys have manual and automatic campaigns. What is your recommendation for both? How do folks get started either way?
Yeah. So if you are, new to sponsored products, you always want to start with an automatic. So automatic is like your widest reach, right? Because and it's like the less setup, right? Because you're relying on the Walmart algorithm to serve your ads against like relevant searches, right? So we always suggest starting with an automatic, letting that run for a few weeks before converting that to a manual campaign. And, you know, we've launched some really great reports in the last coming weeks, like an item keyword report that really can be used as a search harvesting tool to create these manual campaigns that you're seeing the highest performance on these particular products. With manual campaigns, you're bidding against keywords, right? So it's a little bit more strategic, it's a little bit more fine-tuned, whereas with automatic, you're relying, it's the Walmart algorithm, you know, and, you know, using, if you are working with like someone like, you know, the Teikametrics, they have a lot of AI that is really going to help you see, okay, which campaigns, you know, have been successful or which items have been successful on your automatic to convert into a manual campaign. But you always want to run both of them simultaneously, because automatic, you're running throughout Walmart.com. So you're on search carousel, the search and grid, the buy box, whereas manual campaign today is just in that search and grid. So it's like minimal exposure, but it's like the top of the search, right? And again, go to the Advertising Help Center where we have, you know, guides, tutorial videos, FAQs on basically how to get started with an automatic and a manual. But once your campaigns have been running for a while, you want to be running both of them simultaneously. You just don't want to do one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few ways I look at this. There's explore and exploit. I wish I had a better term for exploit, but automatic campaigns are for discoverability, searchability, impressions, clicks, and you're going there and Walmart's actually taking keywords from your listing and testing to see how they do when you advertise against them. You explore keywords. Once you realize they're moving, get them into manual campaigns, and you control the exact keyword you bid, the exact match type, and the exact down to the penny how much you're willing to spend. So explore, exploit. I also say autos for show, manuals for dough. Like autos keywords, because you're not just limited to search and grid. You get buy box placement, you get carousel placement, and category placement. If you are migrating those to manual keywords, think about it this way: automatic, we see clients hit 1 million+ impressions in a short amount of time. And it's decent conversion rates, decent ROAS. But when you flip it, what you do with manual is you get a lot less impressions. You may get in the thousands, but you on average see a 3 or 4x increase in ROAS and conversion rates because you're able to control it. So one is much more of a wider audience you can reach. The other, and you might take somewhat of a hit, even though the ROAS and conversion is really strong. The other one is I'm sacrificing the amount of reach for really, really good metrics that I can control. So running both at the same time, it's just a funnel, right? It's its own flywheel. You're obviously going to say that a lot, but it pulls in keywords, and then obviously you go and really maximize your return from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
And automatic, you know, you're expanding your reach because you're opening yourselves to people that you thought were your customers, right?
Yeah. Nice. You guys
And
are
just
tapping
real
into
quick,
this.
it's
Sure.
important there that you start with quality content, which can feed your automatic campaign. So make sure that you
That's
pay
exactly
attention
right.
to
Yeah.
what's there.
Yeah, and we only suggest because our platform is different than, you know, our competitors' platform. So you just don't want to bring that over, right? You want to give all your products a chance to perform and launch as many campaigns as you can with as many products, so you can discover which ones are driving the best results. And also the way you organize your campaigns, you know, don't just throw everything in like one campaign. Be very specific. You know, where you have either, you know, your profitable SKUs, your low profitable SKUs, seasonal, and by creating a more detailed, you know, oriented campaign, you have more control, you have higher visibility into your product, you know, performance. But again, you want to make sure that you're starting with everything, and then from there, you know, analyzing after you've seen the reports run for a few weeks to see, okay, which items are performing, which ones aren't performing, and go from there.
Nice, perfect. That plays into the next question about for folks who are currently advertising, aside from just throwing, you know, more budget at it, sorry, but, you know, how can they really scale their ad performance and get more from their efforts? Talk about the analytics there a little bit too.
Yeah. So In terms of like, actually, if you want, can I share my screen? It might actually just be really helpful to show
Jason, go for
something
it.
here. So I'm just gonna go through, can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can see this? All right, so I'm just gonna go through best practices that tie into what goals should be when you're actually and like, how do you actually use advertising to move the needle for you? So from an automatic perspective, there's two schools of thought. You can wrap similar products in. Now that they have the item keyword performance report, which allows you to get search term reports from automatic campaigns, if you have either one product or at least a product theme in automatic campaigns, you can set bids at each individual item level. So you actually can see what keywords are performing for you. You then want to take those keywords and move them into manual campaigns. And then to Dion's point, you want to take all these products and you want to separate which ones are doing very well. They probably deserve to be in their own automatic campaign versus maybe the lower performers, because when you leverage bid multipliers, this is something incredible that Walmart does. You're able to see whether an advertisement was served up on desktop versus mobile browser versus the mobile app. And you can be more aggressive based on data and buying behavior. So that's what you can do with automatic campaigns. And then from a manual perspective, we recommend focusing on how buyers search your product. Just as an example, if I'm Nike and I'm selling Nike running shorts, I want to make sure that I separate those out if I can and have a single item, all running my running shorts in that campaign. I want to make sure that people who are using Nike in their search, I treat that differently than somebody who's searching for Adidas. And I'm actually just trying to, let them know, I see you see these Adidas shorts, you should buy mine. The other one is, how about the people just go, I want men's 7-inch inseam running shorts. That's a category term. You need to treat that separately as well. Each one of these have a different ROAS goal based on the margin of your products, et cetera. But if you don't break these out, think about it this way. I should be willing to spend a lot less and expect a really high ROAS if I'm selling a Nike short to somebody who's searching for Nike shorts. But I should be willing to pay more if they're about to buy a competitor short or even a generic short. I should be willing to spend more because they weren't trying to buy Nike yet. So I figured it was just good to give a quick visual representation of that. But Dion, if there's anything you want to add, feel free to do so.
No, I think that was perfect. Yeah. But I mean, I also like to think of it, right? Like with your like automatic campaigns, like I always like the analogy. It's like, if you're like, when you're vacuuming, right, you're like cleaning up everything that you can, right? So think of that as like, your manual campaigns, like you're just going in and cleaning it, but then they're like leftover crumbs. And think of that as like an automatic, right? Because they're going to like sweep up all of those for you that you've missed when you're bidding on these specific, keywords. But like, there's going to be so many different goals. Like there's no industry standard for your, marketing goals. So it's also the way you're going to structure your campaign is going to depend. Like, are you looking for brand awareness? Are you looking for, consideration to purchase? It's all going to vary on how you are, staying top of mind and, really, allocating budget and creating these successful campaigns to really maximize your visibility and increase your sales velocity. So, yeah, I think.
Nice, yeah. Let's kick this question to you before it goes to Jason. What are your thoughts on doing advertising, self-serve versus through a service?
That's a good question.
We'll get there, Jason. Don't worry, you'll have your chance.
So self-serve is like you have full control, right? You are going in there and you are optimizing. You are the ones who are, pulling the reports and making all the changes. Working through a search partner like Teikametrics, like they have so many. It's like they're using AI. They're using machine learning to really make those optimizations for you. So, and they have additional data that they're using outside of like, what we have in our to make these optimization recommendations. So, again, if you want full control, then you want to go through like your self-serve, right? But if you really want to maximize your exposure and use like, data and machine learning, you're going to go through like a Teikametrics. But I'll let
That makes a lot of sense. Even on the listing front too, you can do, we talk to sellers who operate their business in spreadsheets all day. And then when you use something like Zentail, you just get like all the automation, it's reliable, it's correct, and you're doing a ton more.
Yeah, and you're able
Jason, do you have any thoughts?
First off, Dion, thank you. That was a very, very nice answer. Look, I think here is the thing, and removing my bias from it. Walmart is different than a lot of other platforms that because Walmart is a first price auction. What that means is, although it's not whoever bids the most wins the auction, it obviously takes into account shipping time, your order defect rate, all that stuff. But just wiping all that out, looking at price, if I want to bid on that example, like Nike running shorts, if I bid $5 and the second highest bid is $2 to show up for that keyword, other channels like Amazon and Facebook, you win the bid at $5. You pay $2.01, 1 penny over the second highest price. Walmart is a first price auction, which means if you bid $5, you pay $5. Which, now, how do you actually understand where the true pivot point, where you're winning the advertising auction, and when you're not overpaying for that as well? That's a statistics problem. That is a math problem that requires data and insight and methodology to solve for. So if you do use a partner, or to say you wanted to do it yourself, if you're gonna do it yourself, how do you systematically increase your bid across thousands of keywords to know exactly when you're winning the advertising auction? At the same time, how do you know when to shade your bid back down so you make sure that you're maximizing your revenue and profitability from that key term? The beauty about using a solution is, at least with somebody like us, is having the methodology to know, somebody who knows how to build campaigns, right? How do you make sure across thousands or hundreds of thousands of keywords that you know exactly where you should be bidding on what type of keyword and why, and then how do you adjust that over time? So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you can go the self-serve route. You could use us, but forget about that. My Switzerland answer is make sure you're advertising first and foremost before you're trying to figure out, which way you want to do it. Commit to advertising, because that is the most important thing for you and your business.
Yep. Great. Perfect. Thanks, guys. We have a couple minutes left, and one question that looked interesting to us here is around, I think, really relevant to timing here ahead of Q4, and even, thinking that Q3 may become the new Q4. So the question is, USPS is hurting our metrics. How can we not get dinged from shippers, not meeting their SLAs? And thanks to Yannick for asking that out in Facebook.
Yeah, so we do correct for external situations, whether there be shortages with the USPS leading to longer delivery times, or there is a hurricane that rocks the Southeast. Our performance team takes into account these things, and we do correct for those. So while it would typically impact your order defect rate, we would forgive these periods of time and your account would still stay in good standing. Where else was I going to go with that? We also track like the time it's picked up from the customer, like it's scanned by USPS or UPS or FedEx. We get that initial scan. And then we also can track it through its delivery phase, and we'll know if you hit your metrics to getting it shipped out. If it's not delivered on time, even though it was picked up by this carrier, we can see that the carrier's like overall metrics during that time period and try to correct for those as well.
Really helpful. I'm sure that a lot of people will be kind of at ease now from that. So let's see. Jeffrey spoke to the listings tool being updated kind of in the very near future. What are other updates that sellers can expect in Seller Center?
I can speak so I'm a product manager for the insights and recommendations side of things. So the analytics tab is what I manage. We are working on a lot of different analytics and tools for you to kind of run your business. Like we've recently relaunched the whole financial overview page. I know there's some issues going on with it right now, but we're taking a look at how can we make it more streamlined for you to get insights. So be on the lookout for just more insights about how to manage your business. We're going to refine our tool for listing quality in the future. There's other tools that we have like buy box, pricing opportunities in there as well, unpublished items. How can you gain, how can you actually get an item that was unpublished back to a live state, especially if you actually have inventory sitting in your warehouse. So on the analytics front, there's a lot coming up. we'll probably have newsletters and that stuff coming soon about all the different releases, but that's just a quick tidbit.
Yeah, good, Jeffrey. That was sort of like what I was going to say too, which would be cool. I don't know if the Facebook group's already doing this, but as our monthly periodical comes out, the Marketplace newsletter, it'd be nice to see if that gets broadcast to the group. Pay attention to that. All the new and upcoming things are usually broadcast there first or right at the time of launch. And then seller.walmart.com has some really good stuff, or marketplace.walmart.com. People lead in and talk about upcoming events and new releases and things like that to sort of like just keep people appraised of what's happening. On a large scale, like Garesh mentioned, like new specs and item detail sheets and things like that to help people know like how to build the content correctly. There's a lot of work going into that, and there's shipping template work coming as well, where we're making the ability for you as a merchant to indicate the regions you want to ship to and for what price point a lot simpler. So a lot of work going into it. We have a ton of focus on the marketplace from an entire corporate perspective. So look for just an increased rate of updates to make your lives as merchants easier.
I think one thing I will touch on, Dion, I ran that webinar with Stephanie Prasad, I believe it was last week. She mentioned, you might want to cover the search and grid update of the placements growing through 1 through 12.
Yeah, so the search and grid prior to like recently, they were just in fixed positions 3, 5, 6, and 3, 5, 6, and 12, right? And now what we've done is we have updated that so that the ads can run between slots 1 through 12. Just we know, obviously search and grid is the highest visible slots. And so now we have it where you can run in any 2 slots between positions 1 and 12. So it's no longer those fixed slots.
Yeah, and that was an awesome one, and I love to see it. And then another one Stephanie mentioned is buy box win rate percentage. Which to win sponsored products, you have to be both in to run an ad. To I think Dion's point, you have to win the buy box to be able to run an ad and even be eligible. Now we have the ability to actually see your win rate. I believe it's day or 7. Yeah, I think is it the day before or 7 days? Last 7 days, right?
Days plus the day before. Yeah. So like we said, we are doing so much, and I think like we've really ramped up in the last like month or so in terms of like our features, capabilities, our reporting. So like I mentioned earlier, we had the item to keyword performance report, which we never had before. It really helps like what are people searching for? What's actually driving my products? And then we have the item health report that's really going to help you make those, right decisions of like which products you want to advertise, because it's going to tell you the buy box, like the win rate. And it's just really going to help, because the biggest problem was like, how do I know if I'm winning the buy box? How do I know if my ads are right?
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge for us. So we're really excited that we've launched this item health report. And if you want to learn more about it, go to the Advertising Help Center, a full glossary plus a video of this report.
And then one other one too that Stephanie mentioned, and I know I'm not letting the cat out of the bag because she shared it on the webinar, but you're going to be opening up manual campaigns to carousel placements as well.
Yep. 100%. I just actually got off a call with that earlier today. So in the next coming, couple months, we're going to be expanding our manual campaign targeting to allow for those to be in the search and grid as well. So that's really excited because, up to this date, it has only been with the search and grid. And now we're opening that up to be able to run in the carousels. So that's really exciting.
Sounds like there's a ton coming for Walmart, you guys. Wow. On the advertising front, listing kind of everywhere. So that's great. You guys have always traditionally had a really strong Q4, and I can only imagine what's going to happen this year. So that's Again, awesome. We are right here at 3:30. We can keep talking all day long. I know we have some questions. I'm sorry, everyone, we didn't get to everything, but I think we answered a lot. I came in really excited, and you guys definitely exceeded expectations. So thank you. If anything, you've set the bar even higher for tomorrow. Yep, folks, please don't forget to come back for another great conversation. We'll be speaking with the Walmart crew, some different faces as it relates to their expertise, in addition to Deliver, who can obviously help talk about 2 days. So everyone, thank you. We will be sure to send out presentations as we can, all the resource links that Dion provided to keep you guys on the up and up with Walmart. So again, Walmart team, Jason, Teikametrics, Philip with the group, thank you so much. On behalf of Zentail, this was really a lot of fun and very helpful, very informative.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Philip.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. All right, guys, talk to y'all later.
Thanks.
All right, bye.